Elizabeth Jane Potok was an English spiritualist medium known as Madame d'Espérance. Her name is given online in various publications as Elizabeth Hope, but Adrian Parker and Elizabeth Warwood in the Journal of Scientific Exploration noted Esperance's real name and year of birth, corroborated by evidence from the surviving members of the Potok family. Born in London in 1848 and not in 1855, as given elsewhere, the daughter of mariner George Potok, she spent her childhood in the East End in what she claims to have been a haunted mansion. In 1870, she married Thomas Jackson Reed, the two apparently separating by 1879. She began her career as a medium in the 1870s, beginning her so-called manifestation seances during her time in Sweden. Her medium act included supposed demonstrations of automatic writing, empathy, and table-turning. In 1880, during a seance, she was exposed posing as a materialized spirit. In 1893, she supposedly managed to dematerialize most of her body in front of witnesses. However, the authenticity of this display was disputed by psychic researcher Herwart Carrington. She died in Copenhagen, Denmark in 1919. Esperance wrote 2 books. Her autobiographical memoir, Shadowland, or Light from the Other Side, from 1897. And today's subject, her collection Northern Lights and Other Psychic Stories from 1899. Of note, however, is that it is a collection of sentimental ghost stories, so there aren't any malicious spectres or restless revenants about. The title story concerns a Herr Massi, travelling by carriage past the city of Haparanda in Sweden, but after his carriage nearly falls through the ice, he is forced to spend the night in the company of some Lapps. The elder of the household tells him the story of a little girl who kept seeing the ghosts of a pair of poor people at an abandoned house, constantly requesting spirits of an entirely earthly kind. And also another story of the terrible degradation of a woman he had loved, all due to the drink which Europeans keep bringing with them to Lapland. Benno the Vagabond is the tragic story of a vagabond orphan child, shot and crippled in a tragic accident, and his intention to free a man unjustly accused of murder with the weapon Benno had stolen. The warning spirit concerns the Count of K, and his feverish attempts to put his things in order once the traditional apparition of a spirit known to him in life foretells his coming death, as it did for all his ancestors. Hans Hauptmann's warning relates how peasant Hans Hauptmann got himself a wife with a farm, and how he refused to send his children to school out of sheer spite, while being abusive to his whole family, and how the appearance of a stern dead man at Hans's bedside, intended as a warning, came too late. Peppy is the sad story of a known local rapscallion, and the tragic results of him overstaying his leave from the army for the 3rd time in a row. The Millstream concerns a young man studying to be a preacher who falls in love with a girl living in an old mill, and who is then comforted by the girl's spirit after she dies suddenly, so he can go on to become a preacher. Harald Arnhold tells the story of a young man walking around with a German Fräulein who doesn't really care for his presence. He then promises to come meet her after his death, should he die first, in order to confirm whether ghosts are real, and then when he kills himself, he keeps showing up at her house, even going on holiday with her family, who tolerate him out of pity. Strange Excursions is a collection of supposedly real instances of people being able to astrally project. Together is a short emotional tale of a woman grieving for her husband's death until she too is laid to rest at his side. The Light of Pentraguinea concerns an English maiden who, in a similar fashion as to the stories in Strange Excursions, projects herself on board of a ship to keep it from floundering on the rocks, while at the same time wasting away due to certain emotional issues. The stories, while not at all scary, do have good emotional moments, be it pity one feels for young paralyzed Benno, or for the wasted life of Harald Arnhold. The material is, unlike many other spiritists I have read in the past, free from lengthy pseudo-scientific gobbledygook and pseudo-philosophical meanderings, but being short and to the point, and thus very readable.